I want to talk to you today about dysphilia. Dysphilia is a term I've coined to describe what often gets simply put as sex addiction or porn addiction or love addiction, or fill in the word. What I think is missing in the idea of addiction is that's simply one aspect that kind of shows itself. It causes the most trouble, those behaviors, but it doesn't actually address the whole root. Yes, there are compulsive behaviors that get out of hand, become to the point of addiction for some people, but underneath it all, there's really something much deeper I call dysphilia. It's sort of from the Greek, and it just means basically disordered love or unhealthy love. And that really starts with a sense of appreciating or not appreciating the self. There's a disorderedness in the way that we view our value and our worth, our identity, and that particular damage, it isn't just contained to the self. It ends up translating into the relationships that we have. And so oftentimes, we'll have partners that'll say, like, you never loved me, it was all fake, all those good times weren't real, things like that, which is not entirely true. I mean, certainly from a felt sense, like, it's totally understandable the partner would say that. But from the dysphilic perspective, it's this loving the best that they can in the limits that they have. And unfortunately, the limits are great. So the person has both a genuineness in their original attraction to their partner, and when they're offering kind of, romantic gestures and things like that, like there's a genuineness to wanting to make the other person happy. Yes, of course, there's selfishness and there's trying to get pleasure for the self, probably worked into that, part of the dysphilia. But there is a genuineness to it. The problem is that the low self-regard that the dysphilic has is so strong that they have to feel like only an outward performing part of self can be in relationship. Like only that outward performing part of self is going to be received by another. So even when you're lucky enough to get somebody to love you and you feel like, great, we can be an item, it's actually not fulfilling because the other person can love you, but you're perceiving that they're loving your projection, right? They're loving the PR version of you that's been put on. So that's what the partner probably means by fake, because that element isn't entirely not you, but it certainly is a part of you hiding some other part. And it's the other part that you're hiding is also part of you. So they are being denied full access, full knowledge of who you are. And that means that their intimacy from their end can't even be full. They think they're having full intimacy with what you're presenting, but they're actually having intimacy with only a part of you. And so this other part of you, which you try to keep from your partner, but in a way you keep from yourself as well, this is what pushes those compulsions. It pushes sort of trauma reflexes or other things that leads to these behaviors that are so disconnected from couple intimacy. They're things that are really right and in accord with the dysfunction, right? They validate, almost prove in a sense, the negative beliefs, but they're inconsistent and conflictual with like the idea of being a committed partner in a coupleship. So that's the problem with dysphilia, is it's not just the addiction or compulsion, it's this disordered kind of love of self, and it leads to disordered love within the relationship. Now, some people, they can be really down, depressed, hard on themselves, very negative towards themselves, and that's one way that dysphilia thing shows. It's sort of a soft narcissism towards themselves. But the other one, which is more to promote the self, put forward the best self, pretend like I don't have any problems, that kind of stuff, that's the other angle. Both are just different extremes of the person not being able to deal with their wounded self and trying to deal with it, but in a way going around it. So what I want you to think about with dysphilia is, don't think of it as just getting to a place of sobriety. Sobriety is a great place to get to, okay? But it's only the start of the journey. It's what equips you to do the journey. And after that, you really have to start looking at, well, who am I really? What do I really believe about myself? Why do I believe that? How can I heal in those areas so that I do behaviors that are consistent with a healthier me and better for relationship, rather than go back to the same escapist compulsive behaviors I've used before. So that's the idea of understanding dysphilia. Now, the way the program works is usually there's a holding group. So when you first approach the clinic and have your intake, you'll be sort of guided towards a twice a week meeting that happens online, usually during lunch hours, but it could be at different times, and for about half an hour twice a week. And that's like a check-in group. It's to start to build up accountability. It's to break you, in a way, from your shyness and reservedness to start bringing it out and talk about things. So by being in a group with other people who are, also struggling in similar ways, it's a great way to start breaking that shame, and also to have the safety of the facilitation of the professional, right? So that's the key to getting it started. After that holding period, or during that holding period, you also start your individual therapy, get the ball rolling with somebody on that to try to break open what you're really dealing with on other levels. And then there's a full program that we offer, the Dysphilic Recovery Program, that helps you to walk through workbooks and keep up accountability, and even have some intensives that allow you to break through to the deeper healing that you require. And so want to put all that in context. It's a 10, 11 month or so program that you have to commit to, that because change is not going to occur overnight. There's no easy button. There's no like get fit at the gym after your first week of working out. It's that kind of thing. You have to keep going in order to get to that healthier place. So the program itself runs, like I said, 10 to 11 months. It has components of accountability, group meetings, work group, individual therapy, and as well, later down the road, full group, some group therapy and intensives. And all that put together helps bring you towards not just sobriety, but recovery. And that'll also complement with the other programs we have, such as communication with your partner, and also going through more work with building up intimacy down the road. So if you can understand that and see the need for that for your life, I think that you're right for this program. If you feel like maybe you just want something quick or easy or whatever, one, I don't think you'll find it anywhere, and maybe two, you'll just come back later when you realize you need something more than something quick or easy. And I hope to have you either way working on these issues with you at the Whitestone Clinic, and I wish you quick recovery and healing.